Good evening and welcome to the special presentations of the City Council of the City of Moreno Valley on April 5th, 2022. I call this special presentations meeting to order at 5:30 p.m. We're going to have five special presentations. The first one will be a proclamation recognizing April 3rd to the 9th, the National Library Week. The second one will be the proclamation recognizing Arbor Day. And then we're going to have a proclamation recognizing April as Senior Veterans Month by Councilmember Marquez. And then a recognition of the Riverside Sheriff's Department recipients of the Distinguished Service Medal. And then a swearing in of Shaylinda Bernard to the Arts Commission. We'll start with the Library Week. We'll go ahead and have Councilmember Delgado that will speak and present the proclamation to Library Commission's Chair James Harris and Vice Chair Ginger Baker.
Hi, guys. Pleasure. My pleasure, sir. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I'm Ed Delgado, District 2 Council Member, and today I'm delighted to present the National Library Week Proclamation. April 3rd through 9th is a time to celebrate our nation's libraries, library workers, and promote library use and support. On behalf of the Mayor, City Council, and residents of Moreno Valley, please know that you are appreciated. Accepting this proclamation tonight is Library Commission Chair James Harris and Vice Chair Ginger Baker. Thank you guys for coming. Awesome.
Thank you, sir.
They even have their own name tags and everything. That's awesome. Recognizing April 3rd through 9th as National Library Week. Whereas libraries strive to help and maintain programs, books, audiobooks, and collections that are as diverse as the populations they serve and ensure equity of all access. Whereas libraries are accessible and inclusive places that foster a sense of connection and camaraderie. Libraries connect people to technology, providing access to broadband internet with free hotspots, access to computers, and training that is critical when accessing digital education and employment opportunities. I think I have the longest one, by the way. Right? Today's libraries and their services extend far beyond the four walls of a building and have adapted to the changing world where everyone is welcome to use their abundant resources. In times of crisis, libraries and library professionals play an invaluable role in supporting their communities both in person and virtually with such services as park and pickup, curbside service, take-home craft, activity kits, and downloadable or streamable titles. Libraries are the cornerstone of democracy, having long served as trusted and treasured institution for all of our members of the community, regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or socioeconomic status. And libraries, librarians, and library workers are joining library supporters and advocates across the nation to celebrate National Library Week. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the City Council of Moreno Valley, on behalf of the citizens and staff, does hereby proclaim that National Library Week, April 3 through 9, 2022. Mr. Harris, Ms. Ginger, thank you for being here tonight. Would you like to say a few words, ma'am? Sir?
If you love your library and you love to read, come and join us. We have 2 open positions.
Thank you. Mayor, City Council, on behalf of myself, Commissioner Baker, and the rest of the commissioners that couldn't be here today, we truly realize the value that libraries contribute to any thriving and up-and-coming community. And so we believe that is demonstrated by what you see at our main branch, what is the mall branch, as well as the Iris branch, as a volume of activities and programming that's going on there. Like I like to tell our patrons, it's no longer your grandfather's library. You know, everything from Veterans Connect to the literacy program to ESL. There's so many different activities that's actually going on at the library. I do story time there, and it's just an enriching environment. And so, in closing, I just want to thank the City Council and the Mayor for your support, and we look forward to future endeavors with the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Want to take a picture? Congrats, guys. Now I'll turn it over to Councilmember Cabrera.
The next presentation will be proclamation recognizing Arbor Day by Councilmember Cabrera, and he'll speak and present the proclamation to Public Works Director, City Engineer Michael Lloyd.
Excellent. Well, good evening, everyone. And thank you, Councilmember Delgado. It is my great honor and pleasure to present a proclamation here this evening, recognizing April 26, 2022 as National Arbor Day. Arbor Day is an annual observance that celebrates the growth and care of trees in our lives and promotes tree planting and care. Arbor Day has been recognized as a formal holiday since it was first observed in 1872 in Nebraska. Arbor Day symbolizes a desire to expand consciousness for the future. It is a special day in which we encourage humanity to plant trees as a consideration of hope for future generations. The simple act of planting a tree represents a belief that the tree will grow and someday provide wildlife habitat, erosion control, beauty, and inspiration for ourselves and our children. Our environment and its natural habitat are part of our daily lives, and we need to continue to preserve its beauty today, tomorrow, and always. Moreno Valley is now awarded the Tree City USA designation and has shown its initiative in the city's Momentum MoVal strategic plan. Cities all over our vast country recognize Moreno Valley as a tree city, and we plan to keep that honor for years to come. Accepting this proclamation tonight is here with me, Mr. Michael Lloyd, who is our Public Works Director, as well as our city engineer. And the proclamation that we have here reads as follows. I don't know if it's longer than the one Councilmember Delgado read, but let's give it a shot. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees, resulting in the planting of more than 1 million trees in the state of Nebraska during the first celebration of Arbor Day. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world as a day to spread joy and well-being by the planting and protection of trees and woodlands. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper and countless wood products, and they also increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the City Council of the City of Moreno Valley, on behalf of its citizens and staff, does hereby proclaim April 26, 2022 as Arbor Day in the City of Moreno Valley, and urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support the efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. Citizens are further urged to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. Please join me in showing our support for National Arbor Day. And Mr. Michael Lloyd, would you care to share a few words and maybe highlight the importance of this proclamation for us?
Thank you, Council Member. Just want to say thank you to the mayor and council for making this a priority. It's obviously an important issue. Trees are part of our community. They provide the aesthetic and environmental improvements that you noted. And so they're part of our lives, and we need to acknowledge that and take care of it. Thank you, Council Member.
The third, thank you. Okay, the third presentation will be a proclamation recognizing April as Senior Veterans Month. Councilmember Marquez will speak and present the proclamation to the Senior Citizen Advisory Board Chairperson, Mr. Robert Snyder.
Robert. Good afternoon. This means a lot to me because I am a veteran of Vietnam for 2 years. And I am a senior. I'm way over 65, so I kind of fit in on this one here. Good evening. As we prepare to reinstate this year's proclamation, we'd like to take the time to reflect on the importance of the military service members in our community and the sacrifices they make often in the course of our service to our nation. The National Veterans Committee states that over 70% of our veterans over 55 and more than half are over 65. Makes a large portion of our population, especially here in Moreno Valley, because of March Air Base, a lot of retirees. The life of the service member is not an easy one, regardless of the age. Even in times of peace, many service members face extended periods away from their homes, their families. Service members and their families continuously deal with the challenges unique to military service through resemblance and communities. We would like to thank all the service members, not only in the city of Moreno Valley, but throughout our nation. But tonight, we will recognize the great impact that our seniors here have had in paving the way for our service here in Moreno Valley tonight. And so, as the city would like to honor our senior veterans by presenting this proclamation to our Senior Citizen Advisory Board Chair, Mr. Robert Snyder. Mr. Snyder, would you like a few words?
No matter where our servicemen and women were stationed, no matter how long they served, they were serving our great country. And I'm very happy to let the Senior Center know about this when we have our meeting on the third Monday. And then anytime I'm in there, because we do have quite a few vets that participate in activities and do other things there. So I thank you, Councilman Marquez, and of course the City Council for this. Thank you very much, everyone.
If I can get Rudy, you want to come up here? He's part of the advisory board, senior citizens. Come up here while I read the proclamation. Recognizing Moreno Valley Senior Veterans Month, whereas the greatest nature's assets of the city of Moreno Valley is the people that live in the city, who consist of a large military population due to the March Air Force Base or March Air Base. Whereas the veterans' spirits that helped build this nation is alive and really the evidence today through the veterans' continuous actions to protect their service, that their communities as well as the nation core values, while their families form a strong bond and support and endure long periods of separation in the name of our service to our country. Whereas the United States Department of Veteran Affairs states that there are more than 18 million veterans living in the United States. More than half of those veterans are over the age of 65, or over the age of 55. Whereas we thank and recognize the courage of self-sacrifice and the strenuous valor of our senior veterans population, as well as contributions made by our senior veterans and their families to the cause and peace of freedom around the world. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the City Council of the City of Moreno Valley, on behalf of the citizens and staff, does hereby proclaim March 2022 to be Moreno Valley Senior Veterans Month in celebration and recognition of this great service in our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, appreciate it. Thank you, Councilmember Marquez. The next presentation will be the recognition of the Riverside Sheriff's Department recipients of the Distinguished Service Medal. Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone. At this time, as you can see, I have the police chief, John Salisbury, here with me. Also, two city employees, David Cerna and also Alfred Fierro. Let's give them a round of applause for their heroic contributions to our city. I'm proud to recognize the quick thinking and the heroic actions of two Moreno Valley employees who are credited with saving the lives of two victims of a car accident, one of which was on fire at the time of the rescue. If you recall, on December 16, 2020, at 7:31 a.m., deputies from the Riverside County Sheriff's Department, Moreno Valley Station, responded to the report of a traffic collision near the intersection of Eucalyptus Avenue and Kitching Street. Several vehicles were involved, including a truck which rolled over and caught fire. City of Moreno Valley's employees quickly, David Cerna and Alfred Fierro, were working nearby and witnessed the collision. Without hesitation, they rushed to the scene to render aid. They found the truck was on fire and two occupants were trapped inside. At great risk to their personal safety, Mr. Cerna pulled a juvenile occupant from the truck as Mr. Fierro deployed a fire extinguisher. They determined the second occupant was trapped and could not be removed from the truck. Mr. Cerna and Mr. Fierro administered aid to the juvenile occupant while providing comfort to the second person still within the truck. Both gentlemen remained on the scene until relieved by emergency personnel. And if you recall, back in 2021, I think it was January 19th, we presented them the Mayor's Award of Valor for their courageous acts. And tonight, what we're doing tonight is we are giving them the Community Service Medal through the Riverside Sheriff's Department for their heroism as well. The Community Service Medal is the department's second highest civilian honor. This award is presented for exceptional community service. Their actions, at the risk of their own lives to save others, are commendable. I commend them for their heroism in helping fellow citizens in need. At this time, I'd like to ask Chief Salisbury if you could just tell us maybe a few words of how important this award is. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, and the community. Mayor, I am happy to announce there was a little change in the award. So the award was upgraded.
Oh, great.
So these two gentlemen standing here were upgraded the Distinguished Service Medal, which is the Riverside County Sheriff's highest civilian honor. The award is presented for acts of distinguished service involving great risk or personal injury, or an act meritorious service representing a major contribution to the department and the community. So Mayor, Mr. Fierro, Mr. Cerna, on behalf of Sheriff Bianco and the Riverside County Sheriff's Department, we thank you, and I know your community thanks you too.
Would you guys like to say a few words? Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead and do the presentation.
To memorialize the presentation, each gentleman is presented with a medal for the distinguished service.
You're very welcome. Really nice. Okay, at this time, I'd like to invite the gentleman to see if they would like to say a few words.
On behalf of myself and my partner, Alfred, and everyone at Maintenance and Operations through Public Works, we appreciate this honorable award. Thank you very much for recognizing us and all who was involved that day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council, city staff. We appreciate you guys. You guys are working hard. Thank you.
One, two, three.
a swearing in. If we can have Shaylinda Bernard come up. Also, if you'd like to bring your family as well.
Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. Good evening, everyone. So we'll be conducting the swearing in right now. So Miss Bernard, if you can hold your right hand and repeat after me. I, Shaylinda Bernard,
I, Shaylinda Bernard,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
okay, that's a
I'll repeat
mouthful.
what
Yeah,
we-
thank you.
And that I will well
And that I will
and faithfully discharge
and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations, Ms. Bernard.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Miss Bernard is the newest member to the City Arts Commission, so congratulations. Would you like to say a few words?
Yes. I'm looking forward to planning a lot of projects. As you can see, I have two very little ones, and so it's very important to me that these projects are done and that we do this. Also, I encourage members of the community to sign up and join commissions and boards. We have a lot of commissions and boards, and I really appreciate you guys signing up and just giving back to our community. Again, thank you, City Council. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City staff.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Shalinda. That concludes the special presentations. Oh, wait, let's, if you want to do a picture. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay, at this time, that concludes the special presentations for this evening. The city council will convene at 6 p.m. So we'll just take a 5-minute break. We'll convene in about 5 minutes. Good evening and welcome to the joint meeting of the City Council of the City of Moreno Valley Community Services District, City Successor Agency for the Community Redevelopment Agency of the City of Moreno Valley Housing Authority, and the Board of Library Trustees. The City Council does receive a separate stipend for CSD meetings. I now call this regular City Council meeting to order on April 5th, 2022 at 6:07 p.m. The Pledge of Allegiance, Brian, would you mind? Okay, thanks.
Everybody, please stand after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Also, if we could just remain standing, we do have Dave Carlson from Moreno Valley Christian Assembly. If you could just give us a little invocation there.
Let us pray. Lord, I'm so thankful that we can come before you tonight. And Lord, we come with thankful hearts of a nation that is free. Those powerful words that in God we trust. And so, Lord, we place our trust in you as a city. Lord, we're so thankful for those that serve our community, who give so generously, who pour into this community in so many different ways. We are truly thankful. And for our first responders and those that keep us safe, Lord, we're thankful for that. And then, Lord, we're thankful for our city council. And Lord, we pray that you would give them wisdom, that you give them discernment. Lord, that there would be balance in how they manage and run our city. And we're thankful for them. And then we take a moment to turn our hearts towards Ukraine and those who are in just dire situation and the war that's going on there. And Lord, we ask you to somehow bring peace in that chaotic moment. And then, Lord, bless the meeting tonight and all that are in attendance. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. We'll have Deputy City Clerk, roll call, please.
Paul Bradvica, Deputy City Clerk.
Oh, I mean, council roll call.
Councilmember Marquez.
Here.
Councilmember Cabrera.
Here.
Councilmember Delgado.
Here.
And Mayor Gutierrez.
Here. Staff introductions, please.
Paul Bradvica, Deputy City Clerk.
Steve Quintanilla, Interim City Attorney.
Mike Lee, City Manager.
Brian Mohan, Assistant City Manager, Chief Financial Officer, City Treasurer.
Manuel Mancha, Community Development Director.
Lloyd, Public Works Director, City Engineer.
Jeremy Bubnick, Parks and Community Services Director.
Captain John Salisbury. I function as a Chief of Police.
And Jesse Park, Fire Chief.
Okay, thank you. And Brian, also Acting City Clerk as well. Okay.
Thank you,
We
Mayor.
forgot another title. Okay. Thank you to the staff for the introductions. At this time, because this is our fourth and final public hearing item, and we did receive a lot of requests to speak on this item, I moved it to the beginning of the agenda just to allow folks to be able to come and speak and make their comments. We will have a presentation by the City Attorney's Office, who is going to probably defer it to the consultant. So we'll go ahead and I'm going to have the City Attorney go ahead if you want to give your report.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor and Council and members of the public. Tonight is the last of the 4 state mandated public hearings for the redistricting process. As I mentioned before, state law requires that all cities and counties that have district-based elections to review their district boundaries every 10 years after receiving the results of the decennial U.S. Census figures. The purpose of the process is to determine whether our district boundaries need to be adjusted due to population changes. Again, even though our current districts meet the criteria set forth by state and federal laws, we must still go through this process. In addition, I want to note for the record that the resolution in the packet tonight will require at least 3 affirmative votes to pass. This means that if there is no consensus, by default, our current boundaries will remain in effect. But fortunately, as pointed out in the staff report, and as our consultant will point out, our current boundaries again meet all the criteria under all applicable state and federal laws. Now, with that said, again, I'd like to introduce Chris Skinnell, who's actually here tonight, of Nielsen Merksimer. which many consider to be one of the top redistricting firms in the country. Chris's firm has provided the redistricting expertise to numerous jurisdictions within California and throughout the United States. And in light of the fact that hundreds of jurisdictions within California alone have to simultaneously go through this same process, I believe we're very fortunate to have gotten Chris and his firm on board to help guide the council and the community through this endeavor. But before I turn it over to Chris, I want to state for the record that the city has received numerous emails and other correspondence from residents and other interested parties regarding tonight's public hearing. And they also have all been forwarded to the entire city council for their review, unless we just got some in the last 5 minutes. And they will all become part of the official record of these administrative proceedings. So with that said, I have nothing else to say other than introduce Chris, and you can take it from here.
Thank you. And just really quick, and then staff will also be reviewing any of the blue slips, just to kind of make sure that if there's anybody that wants to speak on this item, just make a little note of it, because some people might have filled out the blue slip instead of the golden slip. Okay. A little technical thing there, but okay. All right, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction, Steve, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Thanks for having me here this evening. It's nice to finally be here in person and see all of you, not in a little Zoom box. As Steve said, this is our final presentation. We've been through several hearings already and seen several maps, and so we're just going to kind of jump right in. Just to briefly recap where we've been in terms of the process, state law requires that there be at least 4 public hearings. The first 2 public hearings were conducted in February, and they focused really on the existing lines and the communities of interest within the city and what feedback we might get from you and from members of the public in terms of any changes that might or might not be warranted. The first post-mapping hearing was conducted on March 1st. And that's when you saw several map options. One, the existing lines, because as Steve mentioned, they are legal and within meet all of the requirements, and several map proposals that were submitted by members of the public. You know, the city has maintained throughout this process an online website that is sort of one-stop shopping for redistricting. And one of the features on there is an opportunity for citizens to go on, and they have an electronic map option, and they can draw their own map and submit it. And so, you know, they can start from scratch, they can start from the existing lines, whatever. And at that hearing, we had a couple of maps. We're going to have a few more that you'll see. And so this is the 4th hearing, and the idea being for it to be the final one. The final deadline is April 17th. So we have a little bit of a cushion, a little bit of time if need be, but the idea is for this evening to be the end of the line. And again, just to very briefly recap, the way redistricting works in terms of the rules for drawing lines is federal law sets out some very broad outer boundaries. And they're the most important things in the redistricting world. The most important of all is the equal population requirement that the Supreme Court has set down for the past 60 plus years. And basically what the court has said is that if the difference between the largest and the smallest district within a jurisdiction is within about 10% or within a 10% threshold, divided by the ideal population, then that is presumed to be constitutional and valid. If it's over that 10% threshold, then it's presumed to be unconstitutional. And the court at this point, I don't think would ever uphold any map over that 10%. The second most important requirement is compliance with the provisions of law that protect minority voting rights, primarily the Federal Voting Rights Act. And then within those outer boundaries, state law really fills in the gaps. And as based on some changes to the law in 2019, we now have 4 criteria that are set out in statute, and the law requires that they be considered in this particular order. First most important, geographic contiguity. Second most important, minimizing the division of communities of interest to the extent possible. Third most important, using easily identifiable boundaries. So freeways, railroad tracks, canals, major features that people can look at and understand as district boundaries. And then at the bottom of the list, compactness. We want ideally districts that don't meander all over the place if possible. But of course, that criterion is subject to all of the ones that come before it. And then assuming we can meet all of those mandatory criteria, There may still be some option to consider some older traditional criteria that the courts have recognized over the years. Most commonly, this involves trying to minimize the impact on voters. We don't want to switch voters from one election cycle to the other. We want to maintain sort of the cores of districts, ideally, that have developed political coalitions over time. And so those are the rules. We've been over this a couple times, but procedurally speaking, as a result of this process, nobody's term will be cut short. All of the 4-year terms to which you were elected, you will continue to serve out. But then when your term ends, you would run for re-election in the new districts. And so they roll in over the course of 2 election cycles. Also, because it's been raised a few times, about the possibility of increasing the number of districts, I just want to be clear that that's not an option in this process. That could only be done by a vote of the people. For this process, we're restricted to the 4 districts that currently exist. So I'm going to walk through the maps at this point. As I said, well, let me take a step back and say that every map that you're going to see this evening complies with the Federal Voting Rights Act, complies with the equal population requirements. They're all within that 10% threshold. So it really is going to boil, and they're all contiguous. So it really is going to boil down to sort of a policy judgment call on the part of the council as to what best sort of represents the communities of interest within the city. And I will say that throughout this process, we've heard a lot of testimony, probably 90+% of the testimony from the public has been that the current districts do a good job of that, and that they should be maintained and not changed. And so we put it out here first in front for your consideration that you do have the option of keeping the existing districts should you be so inclined. At the last hearing, you also saw a few maps here. We saw 3 last time: public maps 101, 102, and 103. This map, so when they submit the electronic maps using the mapping portal, the submitters can provide comments to explain the reasoning behind their drawing. This particular submitter did not provide any comments to support this map. So we don't know what the rationale per se is for the changes that this map proposes. Now, maybe the submitter will speak tonight and provide that, but as we stand here, we don't know necessarily why they chose to redraw the lines this way. But of course, you know your community, and you may look at this map and say, well, this, based on what I know, this does make sense. Public map 102, the submitter did provide comments, said, this is an example of a map that rejoins our animal keeping properties on the east end that were separated in the last redistricting to 4 districts. Six districts are needed, but we're being denied. As I said, that's not an option here. This map also ends the gerrymandering of District 1. Public map 103, same submitter, said this map tries to reconnect the remaining animal keeping properties on the east end / both sides of the freeway that was taken away during the recent redistricting to 4 districts. Our animal communities were separated in violation of keeping like communities together. The land area is larger because of lower density, larger lot residences, and open land. And so those are the 3 public maps that you saw at the last hearing. After that hearing, we received some additional maps because there was one more opportunity to provide them. And so now we have maps 104 to 112. And I should say that, again, most of the commenters did not provide, submitters did not provide comments, but we have included here that they've labeled them, they've titled them, so they may at least give some indication of what the submitter was thinking in terms of drawing that map. Public map 104 says, named this map, districts to reflect community characters. Public map 105, it was named historically combined East End. And to the extent you want to go back and look at any of these, please let me know. They're also in your packet with all of the supporting demographics. Public map 106 was named north / south on the east end, rejoined as they were before. Public map 107 it was my map 3 extending south to staging area large lots. I want to mention here, you may notice that the colors of the districts change in some of these. There's no significance to that. It's just a matter of which district they decided to draw first in the program. Public Map 108, My Map 2, Moreno Valley New Districts. Public 109, My Map 2, Moreno Valley Districts, same submitter. Public Map 110, Demography, same districts 2. Public Map 111, same name as 110, and fairly minor changes just there in the center. And finally, Map 12, districts shaped similar. And so, as I said, it may be that some of these submitters will be here this evening to speak to the maps that they've proposed, and you'll get some more insight into what the thinking was. But what we're looking for from the members of the public and from you is, sort of a discussion of which map makes the most sense, and then, as Steve said, a vote tonight on which map to use for the next decade until we have to do this again in 2032. So with that, I'm happy to answer questions
Okay, thank you, sir. We'll go ahead and turn it to council questions of staff, and we're just going to keep it to questions because this is a hearing. And then just if everyone can be respectful, also in the audience as well. And all right, so we'll go ahead and start. If there's any council questions at this time, just press your to speak. I do have one question. With the existing maps, I just wanted to ask, does it meet, I believe that's part of the federal criteria of the majority minority districts. Does it meet that? Can you explain that a little bit?
Of course. So to answer your question first, yes, it does meet that criteria.
Oh, it does.
The standard is that the Federal Voting Rights Act, if certain criteria are met, may require the creation of majority minority districts. All of the maps that you see here have at least 2 majority Latino citizen voting age districts to comply with that requirement.
Okay, thank you. All right, okay. Seeing there's no questions. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open the hearing. Okay, Mr. Deputy City Clerk, how many speakers do we have on this item?
We currently have 5 speakers on this item.
Okay, and that's including the blue slips?
For the blue slips, we have a total of 13, but for the public hearing on F1, we have 5.
But you checked the blue slips just to kind of make sure?
We
Okay,
double check the
so
blue
it's only
slips.
5, okay. All right, we'll go ahead and do 3 minutes for each.
So the first 3 speakers are going to be Luis Palomares, Tom Jarrell, and Joanne Steffen.
Okay, and then if once Luis finishes speaking, if Tom, Gerald, and Joanne could be ready as well, that'd be great. Good evening.
Luis Palomares, community activist. Give me a minute, my asthma's kicking up. Okay, the redistricting, we don't need to do this. A lot of money go to waste. It's not even at the 10%. We got 4 districts, and I believe they all got they're divided up, and they all got 51, 52, 53. It's a little over the 5%. So I don't see why we got to waste a lot of money. Who knows how much this is going to cost? Staff's time to redistrict something that's not broken. Maybe in 10 years when the new census come out, maybe we'll be ready for this, but not right now. Well, we know the swamp, the obstructionists want to do this redistricting. We don't need it. Why fix it? Just leave it alone. We don't got to spend money doing this. We could use that money somewhere else. And a lot of programs here in the district with a lot of things that the district's already, that the school, I'm at the school district, that the city council's already doing. We can, put more money into those things that we need done. Not this, more into police, fire, homeless, all of that money that we're going to get, that big grant or that big money that's coming to our city. Wow, that's great. We can use that money to do this, not to redistricting. We don't need this now. Not now. This is not the right time. But we know who's behind this. So, the people that make the phony baloney maps that don't even make a damn bit of sense, So let's just leave well enough alone, because we don't need to fix it. It's not broken. Let's just keep it like is. We don't need 7 districts or 2 more seats on there either. That's the next move, but we don't need that. I know we're not supposed to be talking about that today, but that's the one that's going to be coming over the horizons next, because that's the only way they probably could get their foot in the door. But we need to just keep it like it is. It's good like it is. It's not broken. Don't fix it. Leave it like it is. The staff don't need more work on top of what they're already doing. You know, we got a staff that, I mean, we got the city manager,
Assistant.
the assistant city manager wearing 3 hats right now. Come on. We need more. We need to fill these positions sooner than later. We know we can't right now, but in the future we might be able to get the right people in here.
Okay.
I'm sure they're going down that road right now, but we don't need to do that. We need to spend our money where we really need it, not redistricting. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Next 2 speakers, we have Tom Gerald, followed by Joanne Steffens and Roy Bleckert. Good evening, Tom.
Thank you, Mayor, council people, members of staff and the public, both here in the chamber or watching at home or on the internet. It's a good thing. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to our public officials on an important issue. Keep in mind when I speak that I moved here, I think it was June 6, 1981, whopping population of about 43,000 people. Wasn't even a city then. I saw the not first, I think it was a 4th or 5th attempts to incorporate our city failed by only 300 votes. Later it passed. Was at the first city council meeting, saw the transfer title to all the goodies to the city of Moreno Valley. So I've seen a bit of history, and bluntly, I don't say it's a bragging way, but bottom line, I've probably been to more city council meetings, and maybe Richard Stewart outpaces me. But other than that, I've been to a lot of meetings, seen a lot of things. I've seen some great government. I've seen some questionable things, but overall, you know, I'm still here. And so I have a bit of a perspective, if you will. And bottom line, I concur with Luis, and this is not the time. The system's working. And as a long-term witness to what's going on, I like what I've seen happening in the last 6, 8, 10 years. I mean, we're moving along. We're making progress. A city official from Riverside said, you know, if you guys keep what you're doing, you're going to pass us by. And that's a good thing. You know, I like to, and he didn't mean just in population. Man, we're moving. We're on the move. We're a city on the move. So I'm proud of Moreno Valley. I've always been proud of it, but there's times I've questioned some of the decisions and the approaches, but we're making a lot of good things happen. I don't discount the need, the future, keyword future need. And I agree with Louise. I think, and what I don't like about redistricting at this time, it becomes very self-serving. I would suggest, you know, term gerrymandering that we've heard so much about, that was a real person. It was actually gerrymandering of the man, and he carved out a district for his own personal benefits to get reelected. So, and it carries with it that connotation of being self-serving government. So that's something we don't need right now. We need to look for the best of the city. That's where my heart's always been from the get-go. I've been questioned on it, and I'll tell you, I've always just want what's best for the city. So I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So thank you for the opportunity to speak, and I like to see us just maintain status quo. It's working. Thank you.
Next 3 speakers, please. Joanne Steffens.
Okay, I would surmise that neither one of you up there even asked a question when the presentation came on, and I would think it's because you guys are all on the same page. I would hope there'd be a bipartisan unity up there this time, because we really don't need this. We don't need to spend money on redistricting. We right now are meeting all the criteria. That's what the presentation person said. I was listening to him, and I hope everybody else was. And we're only at the 5% threshold. It's supposed to be 10%. That's another bonus there that we shouldn't even be doing this. I know we had to spend money to get this thing done. We have to go through motions or whatever, which is unfortunate because we can use money for other resources. And all I can say is if it's not like that old additive, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And it isn't. We can relook at this later on, and hopefully we'll have a lot more people up there making decisions. You know, we've lost quite a few people on the council. We've lost people on the planning commission, and we need people up there that can make informed decisions. But I'm kind of hoping, maybe it's just a prayer, that all four of you are really on the same page this time, because this is something that we don't need to do, we shouldn't do. And even the presentation person, I guess it's Nelson Meneser, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, said that basically, you know, they did everything, but those maps, I mean, some of those, Jesus, we were up there like trash, trash, trash. I mean, some of them didn't even make sense. So basically, it's working. We're doing a good job. We need to really move on and get this tabled and just look at it again. You know, I mean, there's always time to do redistricting when we need it. We don't need it right now.
Okay, thank you. Next two speakers is Roy Blackard and Donovan Sadiq. Oh, they're switching. Okay.
We're going to switch. I'll let Roy close the show out here. Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening.
Staff, rest of the council. Staff, you guys are doing a great job since I've been visiting and doing audits. I thank you guys for all that you guys do. Thank you for not calling the cops on me too. I appreciate that. As far as the redistricting, you know we had a census that came out and things, and it's awesome.
1 second, Donovan. We're just trying to get the clock on real quick. Okay, there we go.
Okay, there we go. Again, thank you guys for coming out and doing what you guys are doing. You guys, things are getting a lot better, but the redistricting right now, I know we just had the census. Yeah, it's important. We got to get the numbers right. We get to get the people. But as I saw some of those maps up there, once again, I'm here representing my area, which doesn't have any representation right now. Why is it that the Edgemont zone area is always being disenfranchised? We were the smallest one on almost every one of those maps. Show me a map where the Edgemont zone area or District 1 is bigger than the other districts. Yeah, and we know it's based on population. Yeah,
audience, please.
Yeah, we know it's based on population. But my point is, right now, the way it is it seems like everything is cut evenly, square pied, where everybody's satisfied. You won't have me coming up here bitching and moaning and screaming and hollering because we don't have enough population in my area to deal with the other areas. So right now, everything is fairly fair in regards to how the city is cut up in the pie. So why change it now? We have other priorities that we could be doing, as in saving money. Don't get me wrong. I am all for the expansion of the districts when that time comes, which I think is going to be coming down the pipe. But right now, with the elections coming up and all these things that we have that we're working out right now, it's just not the time to worry about redistricting. Right? We can save that money, like Joanne Steffen says, and Tom Gerald says, and actually Louise says. Things are getting better in this city because, again, if you look at everybody that's speaking up here, we're kind of saying all the same things, which is eventually, it's kind of scary, but we're all coming to the conclusion of moving the city forward. And that's what we all want to do. We all want to move the city forward. So right now, it's just not the right time to do it. The staff is working super, super hard. Mike Lee is always at some meetings or doing this and doing that. So you guys are appreciated for what you guys do, even though we let you, or at least I let you have it. You know, you're public servants, and that's what you guys do, and you guys are appreciated. But right now, focus your energy on things that we need, like a youth center, boys and girls club, you know, stuff that we can do. And real quick, some of you guys are going to be moving on, Mayor. I know I just saw your signs today in regards to moving to the assembly. Hey, I wish you all the luck in the world. You know, we've had our issues, but you know, hey, it is what it is. Time heals all things. So thank you guys again. Now is not the time, so you guys concentrate on other areas. Thank you.
Okay. Last speaker, Roy Blackard.
This could be a defining moment. You have a report in front of you that has been made public. Just as in 2014, when we were in one of the most contentious parts of our city with recalls and accusations going, this community came together to not only pass the mayor and the 4 council districts, but vote 75% for the district map you have today. You have the criteria. and the evidence that what we did in 2014 worked. One of the few times Moreno Valley could put something up and say, we're proud. We all came together. We did what's best for the community. Do we want to work to sow the seeds of dissension again? And to answer Donovan's question a little bit, this is all the attempt to hijack Moreno Valley is again the attempt to seize political power. Just like the maps before concentrated power on the East End with the overpopulation because they had all the stuff, because they wanted to screw my hometown, Edgemont, which has been neglected for 40 years. We fixed that. It's an even-Steven deal. Each community over the last 8 years has gained almost equally in population exactly what it was intended to do. Jerry Mercado even mentioned it at the debacle of a candidates forum. The districts is all about political power. Whether you spread it evenly or you chop it up and concentrate it. The current map meets the criteria as best, shining above all the others. It cut the political power and the corruption and mismanagement that went on for far too many years. Like I said, this could be a defining moment, like it was in 2014. And what I ask of the council today is to vote 4-0 to keep the current map and maybe put us on the path where we're not mocked, where we're not looked on as a circus sideshow, that we can show that we can do in Moreno Valley what's best for all citizens, leaving all the political BS crap away. Are we going to do it? We're going to find out in a few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Roy. Okay.
We currently have no more speakers, Mayor Gutierrez.
Okay. Hearing closed. We're going to go ahead and have a council discussion. Anyone want to make any comments?
I'll go first.
Okay. Councilmember Delgado? Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Sure.
In regards to this redistricting and having the best interests of the people of Moreno Valley in mind, I went to the redistricting website a few times, having the rules and laws in mind while navigating the process. I wanted to ensure there was due diligence on my part, determining the best district boundaries I could come up with for the city. I reviewed all 12 maps submitted by the public and compared them to what I came up with. Bottom line is our current districts still make the most sense to me. With a population deviation of 5.32% or approximately a little over 2,700 difference, which makes up that 5.32%. No issues with the Voting Act of 1965. As you heard Tim say, we're in compliance with the federal law. No racial gerrymandering. To me, the current districts are already geographically contiguous. Communities of interest are respected by sharing common social and economic interest, and I feel all the current districts are represented fairly. Current districts are easily identifiable to the general public by natural or artificial boundaries, and they meet geographical compactness in all districts. For these reasons, I feel the current district boundaries are sufficient.
Okay. Councilmember Marquez?
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I moved here a little over 40 years ago, and I've seen the city grow. And all my time's been in District 3. What's puzzling about this census is it shows growth in District 3. Why? Because it's the only property available to build anything. Speaker says, well, District 1's being neglected. You don't have the room there for growth, for building homes. District 2, You have it on the northeast side of town. I understand that. District 4, it's coming to the where you're not going to be able to build anymore. There's not going to be any available land. So you look at District 2 and 3 on the east end. What's going to happen in 5 years if the rate we're going down building homes? And if we don't add a district, two more districts, let's say, what's going to happen to those 2 districts? It's not going to be balanced. It's not going to be balanced. But again, Speaker brought up about corruption. I don't know where that comes from. Growth in the city, and we're growing all right. But the growth is coming on District 2 and District 3 only. So when they say, well, it hasn't changed, we shouldn't change what's working. Well, hate to say that, but it's not working. It's unfair to people in District 3 and District 2. But I'm only one of 4 up here. But it's not working the way it is now. There's a couple of maps in here that I don't understand myself. So this decision we got to make tonight, for me, it bothers me quite a bit, because District 3 has got the only open land to build on at this time. And I'm afraid in 5 years, it's going to be unbalanced. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Cabrera.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening to everyone once again. And thank you to Chris for the presentation and for helping us through the process legally required. And we're going through the steps that are necessary. And thank you to all the staff as well for working on all of this. I know it's a lot of work, and, I just appreciate you working on this as well, on top of everything else. But specifically to the topic, I think that the current map that we have right now is the best option to move forward, with the current population that we have and the way that the city is, growing. And one of the speakers actually talked specifically about District 1 and how it's been neglected for a while. And like Councilmember Marquez actually mentioned about future growth of the city. Obviously, it's not something that we're able to take into account now, but sometime over the next several years, whoever's up here on this council is going to have to tackle that issue of the growth in population in different parts of the city and making the decision to make the appropriate changes at that time. But for right now, I think that the current map is the best moving forward. And I also agree with the comments that have been made that during an election year is probably not the best time to make changes for council districts, because it can get so politicized and special interests can get into the process and can change things to their political benefit. So another thing is, kind of like I mentioned in the past meetings when we were discussing this, was I know that the current map, the deviation is pretty low, right? I think it's around 5% between District 1 and District 4, I believe, were the two at the lower end and the higher end. And, in political science, we learn about a lot of different things, voter turnout and making sure that people have access to vote as well. And one of the things that, we study and look at is trying to do our best when it comes to the government and elected officials to ensure that more people are able to go out and vote. And there's a lot of ways to do that, right? And having less voters in one district compared to another puts one district potentially at a disadvantage. So I just want to point, a couple of other things out. But for now, I think I'll just conclude by, again, saying that I think the current map that we have is the best option for us moving forward. Thank you.
And for my comments, I'll just make them very short. I also agree, with the existing maps. I think when you do redistricting, obviously it's required, every 10 years, and you want to meet the Voting Rights Act and Fair Maps Act. And you want to make sure that it's meeting all of those things. And these maps do already meet that, so that's important. And that's why I also asked the question of the majority minority districts, because I know that's a big thing also with the Voting Rights Act. And it does meet that. In fact, I mean, just the representation that we have here on the council shows that as well. So I make a motion to approve staff's recommendation number 3, which is to adopt the existing maps. Second by Councilmember Cabrera. Okay, and we'll go ahead and vote. Okay, and it's approved unanimously. Okay, so we will keep our existing maps. All right, we'll go ahead and go to
Mayor?
oh, yes.
Sorry, just
Oh,
for
sorry.
clarification.
One more motion.
Yes, can
Yes.
you act on item 4, please?
Yes, this one is to approve the resolution. So the other one, the first one was to adopt the preferred district map, which we said existing maps. Now it's to actually approve the resolution.
And Mr. Mayor, I recommend when you do approve it, I'd like to just make some changes to section 1 to reflect that you are keeping the existing districts.
Mhm.
So section 1 of the resolution should be, which is titled Adoption of Preferred Map. And it should read that pursuant to California Elections Code, section 21601 and Municipal Code, section 2.02.040, the city council prefers to maintain the current district boundaries as depicted in the preferred map attached hereto as Exhibit A and incorporated by this reference. The council believes that its adoption would best serve the public interest of the city's residents and voters, and by this resolution hereby adopts the current district boundaries as depicted in the preferred map for use at the city's November 22 election, which is not going to impact anybody's current districts or positions, and subsequent elections until a further realignment is required pursuant to Elections Code Section 21601 and Municipal Code Section 202.040, following the release of the 2030 census, or unless changes are approved prior to the 2030 census pursuant to the applicable laws in place at the time.
Okay, so we'll make a motion for that for Exhibit A, which is to adopt actually a resolution to adopt the existing maps, existing districts.
Right. You need a second?
Yep, a second for that one. Good second for Councilmember Delgado.
Mayor Gutierrez, we'll have to do a voice vote for this one.
Okay, no problem.
Councilmember Marquez,
Yes.
Councilmember Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilmember Delgado,
Yes.
and Mayor Gutierrez.
Yes. Okay, it passes unanimously. And then we will now go to non-agenda items. Public comments on non-agenda items. And just a friendly reminder, we do have Spanish translation services. If anyone is interested in this feature. Also, I encourage everyone participating to keep their comments respectful towards others, especially towards the individuals that are speaking. That also means, just remaining quiet while the person's speaking. Also, public comments on matters on the agenda and non-agenda items will be taken up at this time. Any person wishing to address the council on any matter, either under the public comment section of the agenda or scheduled items, must follow the procedures for tonight. Mr. Deputy City Clerk, how many speakers do we have on non-agenda?
Mayor Gutierrez, we currently have 17 speakers.
Okay, we'll do 2 minutes each. Okay, go ahead and call the first 3.
So the first speakers are going to be Keith Howerton, Brandon Karn, and Lindsay Robinson.
Okay. Keith?
This is my first time speaking to the council in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
As you can tell, I haven't aged a bit.
Oh, and then 1 second, sir. 1 second. We're gonna. Can we fix the time, Paul?
Sorry, Mayor Gutierrez, I'm on that right now.
Okay, thanks. Okay.
Okay. One thing I did accomplish through this pandemic, something I wanted to do for.
One
to-
second, Keith, hold on. Sorry.
Okay.
Let's just make sure it's on, because I want to be fair to everybody.
Okay.
So. You are right. It's been 2 years, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Just a second, guys. Should just be a. While they're working on that, I'll go ahead and start it, okay?
Okay.
On my end, and then, but once you hear it, you know.
Okay. I wanted to express my appreciation to, I guess, the Works Department for the road work they've done on Santiago Drive, which I've lived there for about 38 years. And a great job of paving, and the lines and the streets look better than I've ever seen it. And one of the things I appreciate is the signals at Paris and Santiago. Now I don't have to weave through the neighborhood to get down to Iris, so I can make a left turn at the signal. This is also my first time that I've had an opportunity to pay tribute to Victoria Baca. When Councilman Cabrera was running for office and we met at a shopping center over on Cactus and Moreno Beach, I saw her there. And so I thought, oh, I'll go up and introduce myself. And as I went up to her, she says, "Hi, Keith." It really took me back that she knew my name. I'd spoken a few times at council meeting, well, maybe more than a few times. But anyway, she recognized me, and we talked a little bit about council and everything. And then I was here before a council meeting. She came up to me and she said to me, says, "Boy, that wind is really blowing out there." And I says, "Yeah, no, you'll be able to say, look what the wind blew in." And she says, "Oh, good. I think I'll use that." And she says, "Oh, just kidding." But so to me, she was just a nice person, and I really appreciate her. And I'm sorry that she's gone. But I do remember at one of the council meetings when you're discussing, I think it's called the city center. And I remember her saying that she would like to see a swimming pool there. And I would urge the council to follow through with that and name it after her.
Mhm.
Thank you.
That's very nice of you. Thank you, Keith. Okay. That was within the 2 minutes, Keith, so thank you. Okay, all right. Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
Good
evening.
evening. Do you have the timer out so I can?
It's
coordinate?
not, but it'll ring here.
Okay. Is it 2 minutes or 3
Yeah,
minutes?
2 minutes. I'll start it over. Go ahead.
Well, the first thing I want to do is I do want to thank the mayor for responding to my email. Various ones of you have responded to my emails over either the litter being dumped into the wildlife area or by Gilman Springs Road. More pressing issue is motorized vehicles going in and out of there, many of them from eastern parts of the city, districts 2, 3, 4. They go in and out, and they go all the way down to Ramona Expressway. Well, 2 days ago, a dirt bike rider was killed on the Ramona Expressway, coming in and out, hit by a truck, and actually killed the driver of the truck, and he himself is hospitalized. So this is an ongoing and continuous issue. These are people that throw like beer cans at the game wardens there. Car accidents are occurring. So that is an issue I want to continuously stress and see addressed because it's damaging the habitat, but it's also getting people injured now. The second thing I wanted to talk about is I'm glad that you guys are mentioning that we have a deputy city clerk, because my understanding is his predecessor was actually terminated by the city or asked to resign for misconduct regarding the records right before an election, right before records are being turned in. Many of them were late, and I got along with the clerk. She was very respectable. But here we go again, another accusation of someone being terminated or having the third highest salary in the state, like the previous city manager, Tom DeSantis, had. Something unethical, something controversial going on. Once again, we elect all of you to hold those people accountable. So it was very interesting how quickly her image was removed from the website. I don't fault her successor, but it's very interesting how right before an election that occurred. The last item I want to talk about was the Veterans Memorial. We have a very nice Veterans Memorial. I know one of the names personally who was on there. He was killed several years ago. But I was actually here coincidentally the morning of the fire, recorded a conversation between the mayor and the city manager about how it was an electrical fire. And you knew from that morning, I was there 7 hours later just to take a photo of it to show a family, a 5-star family in Riverside. You knew that very morning that it was an electrical fire, and I saw the lights, and I saw all of the damage to that, and only the bottom portion with the foliage was burned. But one of you decided, who is running for office now, decided to let that go in the press.
Thank you, Brandon.
And,
Thank you. Thank you, Brandon. Okay, that's already 2 minutes.
and be known in the
Brandon,
press
that's already 2
purposefully
minutes.
and ignored. I know
Thank
one
you.
of those names, and you were dishonest about it.
Brandon,
I
okay,
understand.
you're out of
that.
order.
I am
Okay,
out of order.
Yes, you are.
We
You're-
have
it's
any
already
Brandon
2
Brown
minutes.
Act violations.
Okay, sir.
But it's take that very personally when you
Okay,
purposely
sir.
lie for your own agenda to run for supervisor to do that. I understand you corrected it, but you did it on purpose for your own political agenda.
Okay. City manager, really quick, can you, for the record, did we ever have a conversation that it was an electrical fire on that day?
Mayor, for the record, no, we did not have that conversation. And it was very clear in the press release what the fire chief also stated. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so go ahead.
Clock's going.
Yeah, but let me go and get it.
Dang, I shouldn't have said anything, right?
I know.
You're just too honest.
Okay, there you go.
First off, I want to thank
Go ahead.
Councilmember Cabrera and Marquez for being the voice of the people and doing the job they were elected to. They aren't necessarily for 6 districts, but a lot of residents asked them to bring it forward. They did, and they were attacked. Mr. Cabrera was attacked for his FPPC violation, but the people neglected to mention that the mayor had 3 years of perjury on his FPPC violations and got a warning, or about his voter fraud at his house when his mom lives in Paris and someone was voting in her name at his house. Then we have everybody attacking LaDonna for one issue 40 years ago that she rectified, and it was for her own personal safety. And yet they're not disclosing the enormous historical Miss Elena Baca's criminal history. Bankruptcy, overcharging on credit cards, eviction, drug use, heavy drug use, court-ordered drug rehabilitation, drug testing that she failed, failure to appear. She was convicted of obtaining money under false pretenses, and she hasn't disclosed any of this. So why isn't anyone upset about her non-disclosure? Lots of traffic violations. And even in this election, she illegally placed her signs that had to be removed or code enforcement had to contact. Somebody reported that she's hiding comments, which is illegal. And so she's doing it all for her own personal gratification, where LaDonna did it 40 years ago for personal safety issues. And I think Miss Baca needs to disclose all of her criminal history if they're going to keep attacking LaDonna. It's a lot of convictions, and it's all public record. So thank you.
Next 3 speakers, we have Fred Banuelos and Daryl Terrell, followed by Jose Chavez. And then go ahead, Paul.
Hello, everyone. Springtastic, the event, that was great. I loved it. It was a great event to go see. I was enjoyed everyone having a great time. I saw that Shalinda was sworn in today in the Arts Commission. I'm so happy about that because I want to see Juneteenth move forward. Let's get the ball rolling. Let's get that to happen. A5 and B4, I asked about those in the past, and I'm not sure what annex certain parcels mean. So if somebody can reach out to me later for me to understand what it means. I'm just trying to learn, asking questions when I don't understand something. A9, net energy metering calculation. I believe the net surplus compensation rate is 0.03211 per kilowatt. My home most of the time is a net surplus generator. So if this is going to make that compensation good for me, I'm for it. You know, it's something I'm learning about it. I just saw it on the agenda recently. They talked about it recently this past weekend. And if it's good for me, I'm all for it. That's it, guys. That's all I have today.
Okay.
Moreno Valley first. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Fred. We'll have somebody reach out to you too, okay? All right. Daryl Terrell, followed by Jose Chavez, and then David Zeitz. And you are keeping the timer, Paul?
Yes, that is correct, Mayor Gutierrez.
Okay, so it's just not working up there, but we have our city clerk that's doing a timer here. Okay. Just want to let the public know. So, hi, Daryl.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay, good.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council, staff, and the community.
We haven't always agreed on every issue, and it's okay. That's what a robust democracy demands. Amid all the noise and passion and rancor of our public debate, no matter who we are or where we come from or your position on warehousing, what really matters is that we love this city. We want this city to succeed. But think about it for a moment. If our city fails, we failed because we are part of something larger. We are part of the Moreno Mobile family. Despite the differences of our opinions, we're still bound together as one people, that we share common hopes and common dreams, that the dreams of a little girl or a little boy in Edgemont is not so different than those of our own kids, and that they all deserve a chance to be fulfilled. And that dream, the American dream, is what drove many of you in this room or watching at home to this city because of the hope that it has inside of it. It's what drove Skechers to take a chance on our community in the darkest days of the Great Recession when no one else would, because they believed in the city. They believed in hope. They believe in brighter days lie ahead. And we are not a people who fear the future. We are people who make it. And that's how we became a city. That's how we will reach a new horizon that we only could dream about. And I'm not sure how we will reach that better place beyond the horizon, but I know we will get there because I believe in hope. And hope is that thing that's inside of all of us. And despite all the evidence to the contrary, something better awaits us if we hold on to it, we fight for it. Because, my friends in this room, we cannot afford to let this city fail. And I say to you, Mayor, your leadership in this council during this tough time, my hat goes off to you because our better days lie ahead. Thank you.
Thank you for the kind words, Daryl. Okay, next speaker. Who's the next speaker?
The next three speakers are Jose Chavez, David Zeitz, and Elmer Thomas.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. Those new faces, I saw it. Looks like so many new people already in this place. So, except to the mayor and city council. And be honest with you guys, please. You know what kind of people I am. I am talking the truth right at the beginning. I'm not afraid to anyone. I not even threat no one. Okay? But when we have to do something, we will do it. Okay? Keep in mind, like the other person said, 2014, clean up the mess. We did. So now they want to implement more different districts. Okay? So, and I am requesting for so many years to fix it. Our community right there, our street are a mess. And when I come to the person who was in charge from these situations, so public work, he said they not have money. And you know how many millions you guys have in the pocket, and you don't want to put toward that money? 50 millions. So what do you want to do with that money? Believe me or not, every time when I go to the toilet and flush my mess, because I like to speak clear, I'm thinking about it twice because always it's taxes, always. And you guys implement last November, extra taxes for our property. That's not fair or it's not right. What the green businesses, you guys are still playing around with them. They take it, you guys charge less money to them, the taxes. Do you think it's fair to suck in our little blood we have in our body, pay extra taxes to give a benefits to the warehouses and other green businesses? Come on, you guys. Break it down or keep it in mind.
Thank you, Mr. Chavez. Next speaker is
David Zeitz.
Okay.
Good evening. Couple quick notes. One, I do agree that all criminal activity should be brought out on our candidates and everything of that nature, but that's not why I'm up here. What I'm up here for is I believe the city should not benefit from war. The city is collecting money, and I'll call it what it is a blood tax. Our gas prices have gone up at least $2 a gallon. Okay, that means we have increased our gas taxes by at least 90%. And the city's benefiting from this. I think what we need to do is to figure out how much taxes we are collecting because of the gas prices raising, and we donate it to the refugees, help feed them, help to get the kids some medical attention. Why should we be benefiting from a war? It's wrong. And I think that's everything in this city, no matter who I stand for before, what I've talked about before, who I've disagreed with before. I think we can all come together on this and figure out how we can help these people that have been bombed out of their houses, get them medical attention, get them food, get them back to where they have normalcy. We're collecting money because of the war, and we need to take that money and give it back to the people that are suffering from it. I don't know how legal, what we got to do, how it can be arranged, but there's got to be something we can do, because we should not, as a moral city, take this money and use it for our gain. I think it's wrong. It's just wrong. And yeah, the citizens are paying the money. It's going to go to the city's pocket. I think we should turn around and give it back to the people that have been paying the price for this extra money we've been getting. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next three speakers are Elmer Thomas, Bob Palomares, and Russell Schaefer.
My name is Elmer Thomas. I'm representing myself. I am a resident of District 3, which is currently very poorly represented, or you could say non-represented at all.
One second. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Thank you,
It wasn't
Mayor.
starting until.
And actually, you're my first point here, is that I want to encourage folks to support the mayor in his quest to continue to give to our communities, albeit at a different level. Don't forget about us, please. You've proven yourself in the leadership along with these horrible people. You still pulled through. Hats off to you, sir. Please, District 1, you have an opportunity to elect someone who is strong and powerful. That's Elena Baca Santa Cruz. You saw what happened when we lost our two strong females here. These two went full clown mode. We need to recall Marquez for his abuse of power. You know, he told me to get off my high horse and that I was a nobody. Only people who are on a high horse speak like that. Listening to you literally makes me nauseous. You're the antithesis of what we need here. We need kindness. We need someone who could see the future. We don't need someone who's dragging us back, trying to keep us in the old times. Like you said, District 3 is growing. You are not equipped to bring us into the future. Go back and retire off into the sunset. Take your boat and drive off and do whatever it is that you want to do, but get the hell out of here. Recall Cabrera, just simply for your lack of judgment. How can you support this? You bullied the legal counsel here. I saw it. I saw the menace in your face towards our city attorney when he tried to save your ass. And you bullied him. What kind of lack of leadership is that? And you went to school. You must have slept through class. And then when the DA got involved, yeah, you folded real quick, and you're going to fold again when your time comes. And yes, please, folks, support the folks in Ukraine. They need us right now. It's time. And let's get these clowns out of here.
Hey, quiet, please, guys. Who are the next three speakers, Paul?
The next three speakers are Bob Palomares, Russell Schaefer, and Joanne Steffen.
Okay. Good evening, Bob.
Thank you. First of all, police and fire, thank you for all you do. Ed, I read the roundup. I know you're busy. I just threw some more on your plate, so you're doing a hell of a good job, Ed. Thank you. What Lindsay Robinson said, she forgot to mention that what happened 40 years ago with LaDonna Jemison didn't end till the conspiracy that she was involved in with the Brown Act violation. You know, she continued, so don't give me that. That was 40 years ago. She just hasn't learned her lesson. And she also forgot to mention the success story of Elena Baca Santa Cruz. Whatever she went through, she was hurting herself. But look at her now. She's got her credentials. She's moved on. She's a solid woman, a single parent, raised 2 good kids. That's the success story, not the continued violations and how can I do it without working for it. Just like Marcus, guy's a loser. He was a loser from the time that he was in Montebello Police Department. He says he retired. They retired you. When you failed to listen to your superiors and you lied to them, and you know that, when you lied to them, they said, you're out of here. And you know that, Marcus. You got to live with that and with the lie. You know, you're like those people in part of the countries that carry stuff on their head, and they can carry a lot. You carry a lot of lies. And then you're teaching Cabrera. I mean, did he go to your university of lying? Because look, he complained that somebody told him when he got into the council what to do, and he didn't like it. So he teamed up with you. It's because he wouldn't listen to the best advice he was given.
Okay.
The next 3 speakers are Russell Schaefer, Joanne Steffen, and Tom Gerald.
Produced by the Riverside Sheriff's Association in support of Elena Baca Santa Cruz. In big letters and in quotes, and it states, the best choice.
Move the paper. Yeah, can you move the paper? Okay, thanks.
That's an amazing endorsement. Marquez and Cabrera have never received their endorsements, and they never will. The 2 candidates running against Elena Baca Santa Cruz are not what his district needs in District 1, nor are they qualified. The hit piece put out by Ramos, or should I say Ramos's brothers, shows how out of touch they are. They call out Elena for being divorced and filing in bankruptcy. Well, according to World Population Review, in the United States, about 50% of married couples divorce. Another statistic out there is 48% of women who file for bankruptcy are forced to do so due to divorce. Between Mercado and Ramos, you can probably count on one hand just how many times they have attended city functions. Not just council meetings, but any of the many activities the city has to offer. It wouldn't surprise me to find out they are both working together to try to prevent Elena from being elected. Then you have LaDonna Jemison. She's accusing Elena of paying to play. Unbelievable. This is the woman who, along with Marquez and Cabrera, attempted a coup. Talk about backdoor deals. The Riverside District Attorney had to get involved for the violation of the Brown Act. That will be a permanent stain on the record. You do understand that, Cabrera and Marquez, right? Right? This city needs someone like Elena Baca Santa Cruz. Please, everyone in District 1, don't be fooled by lies and underserving candidates. Vote for Elena by mail or next Tuesday, April 12th. Thank you.
The next 3 speakers are Joanne Steffen, Tom Gerald, and Donovan Sadiq.
Okay, now you've got Ramos. I call him the phantom candidate because we don't even see him. I saw him on a mailer. He turned in his 460s. He said he got $1,300 in campaign donation. And then he listed another $99 because it was less than 100. Then when he had to put it on line 3, he totaled it up to another $1,300 instead of $1,399. The guy can't even add. And he wants to sit on the council. Come on, we have enough fiasco going up there without having some idiot sitting there that, for one thing, never comes to council meetings. We never heard of him. I've been here almost 40 years. I've never heard of him. And then he's got his brother speaking for him on podcasts. I mean, who's really running? He puts out a hit piece on poor Elena, which went through a very bad patch in her life. And some people do. I have people that have actually filed bankruptcies. Shoot, I had one brother file it twice, and I asked him, how did he do it? Really, I didn't even know you could do that. But and then you got Mercado, who never even comes over here. He voted in 216 once in his entire life, and that's because he was running for council because he wanted to vote for himself. Now we want him, that clown sitting up there. Come on, Barnum and Bailey went out of business, but Jesus, we're just having it here in Moreno Valley, and it's amazing to me how these people put out all these hit pieces. We've got one here on Marquez, and this fact. Then we've got, well, we already heard about LaDonna. We hope she just gets on her broomstick and leaves town. But, they say 40 years ago, no, she was still committing a crime by sitting up there, and she knew it. But then she wanted to sit up there and run our city? Come on, no. So bottom line is I hope that Hurtado, who is running for mayor, gets the seat, because at least he's been in government and knows what to do and won't make an illegal move. And as far as you two guys, you showed your true colors in
Thank you,
October.
Joanne.
The next three speakers are Tom Jarrell, Donovan Sadiq, and Roy Bleckert.
Tom Gerald speaking on behalf of myself,
Maybe.
Mayor, council members, members of the staff, and the public. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. First of all, I want to thank the council for that 4-0 vote. That was a good thing. That was good governance. I know some of the members had strong feelings, but and expressed their opinion, and that's good governance. You put your case forth, but then at the end of the day, you do what's right. So we can move forward, and I think it's a good move for the city. So I thank you all. And there wasn't one of those maps I couldn't pick the piece, even the one I supported. So nothing's perfect in government. Some kudos first, our police, our fire, especially our fire with this hot season coming up, and our police are doing an incredible job. But graffiti patrol, I just love those guys, what they do. You just cross that city line in a Riverside, you see the difference in 1 minute. So and our public works department picking up all kinds of stuff here and there and everywhere throughout the city. So I really appreciate that. And little kudos for some of our nonprofits here. The Chorale just did a great concert. They got another one coming up. And then the Moreno Valley Wind Symphony is coming up the end of the month. So if you want some very affordable but high quality entertainment, support these groups. It's outstanding. And in closing, I want to say I very strongly support and our company supports Elena Baca Santa Cruz. She's a fighter. She's a good lady. I'm glad she stepped up to the plate. She's had some great stresses in her life in the last 2 years. And so to step into the ring and, put up what she's doing with, a lot of people ask me why I never ran for council. I went through a bad divorce in the 80s, and it set you back. And I wish to God I had filed a BK at that time, but I was a hero. I was going to pay those bills off, and, never got around to it. It just, life goes on. So God bless her, and wish her the best of luck in the city. So thank you all.
Thank you, Tom.
The next three speakers are Donovan Sadiq, Roy Bleckert, and Elena Baca Santa Cruz.
All right, good evening again, you guys. Welcome. I just want to speak real quick in regards to the election for those at home and those that have been gentrified out of Los Angeles that have come to move into our beautiful city and don't know the history of the city. These are one of the best elections you're ever going to find in the Inland Empire. Okay, Moreno Valley has the best. We throw hit pieces on people. We do it all. You got people like me that come up here and talk. We have the people that close it out. But it's funny how a woman who was involved in a coup could sit up here and act like she gets redemption because of what she did 40 years ago, but isn't going to give the same grace to another person who might have gone through certain things. Now, for those of you that are new, and I'm fairly new to the politics because I didn't get involved until 2014. That's when I came on the scene. Elena Baca's background is nothing new. MV Gordy has it on his page when he dropped it, I guess, way back when. The difference is LaDonna Jimson ran on transparency, and that transparency was non-existent. Now, this new hit piece, wherever it came from, I guess it came from the one of the candidates. Yeah, it doesn't look good because as somebody who's kind of neutral into this, and as a political person, what you've done is you've galvanized all of her supporters to make sure they go out and vote for her. Dumb move. Totally dumb move. And thank goodness for people like Bob Palomares and Luis Palomares, who attempted to sue the city and was going to do it successfully until the DA stepped in, because people like myself and others petitioned the DA for the Brown Act violation that got LaDonna Jimson's ass up off of that seat.
The next three speakers are Roy Bleckert, Elena Baca Santa Cruz, and Matthew Chen.
Thank you for the little bit of sanity we had in the last vote. Maybe we can build on this, but I will say I agree with Mr. Stites about the taxes. Measure G was almost criminal of what it's done, especially to the lower incomes in our area, and we need to fix that. And that's your responsibility directly. Over 30 days ago at the last council meeting, Mr. Marquez promised us an explanation of what went on 5 months ago with the alleged coup takeover of this government. He said shortly we would have an explanation. So I waited patiently over 30 days. I would like to know what the definition of shortly is. This has been going on for 5 months. No explanation of why, from all points, an illegal move was made. An attempt to take over this city. Yet we stay silent about that. We should be investigating this and getting to the bottom, because this is the second part. If we're going to heal the city, we need an explanation. We need to get to the bottom of it, because we'll never move forward unless we do it. Not personal. It's about doing what's right. I think the citizens deserve an explanation of what went down. If you've got it, and like I say, if you were right, why did you take her off? Simple question. Please answer it. Again, the city will not heal unless we deal with this honestly. Please do so.
The next three speakers are Elena Baca Santa Cruz, Matthew Chen, and Don Martin.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor, Council, city staff, community in the room and at home. My name is Elena Baca Santa Cruz, and tonight I'm here to thank you. Thank all of you who have participated in my campaign, the business owners in Moreno Valley who have reached out and supported my campaign financially, emotionally. I had a business owner come by this morning and share with me about one of the other people running that asked for his support, and he said, I can't do that. And after sharing some moments that he had with my mother, just as Keith did this morning, I think that's the best part of the campaign, has been hearing the work that my mother has done that we didn't know about. And I knew about it a long time ago. Sadiq talked about it. He said, she's been doing work and she didn't need the credit. And a lot of people don't know how much she's doing. Well, I got to hear a lot of that firsthand. I got to hear how when somebody needed her, that she was there. She was a phone call away. I've been making a lot of phone calls during my campaign, and I'm using my personal cell. And when I hang up, I let them know, this is my cell phone. When I'm elected, you have my number. I plan to continue that, to be accessible, to pick up the phone and then pick up the other line and call one of you and take care of whatever it is that needs to be taken care of, because I know we have a good staff. We have the ability to do everything we need to do for our residents. We have the money, we have the staff, we have the ability to make this city a great city. And I believe that we're going in that direction, and I could be a good part of that. I also want to thank the community leaders, our electeds that have endorsed my campaign. Mr. Delgado, Mr. Gutierrez, other community leaders of the schools, our neighboring cities, as well as unions. You know, I'm a union president, member. I've been a member for a
Thank
long
you.
time, and I want to thank them for their continuous
Okay,
support.
thank
Thank you
you.
very
The last three speakers are going to be Matthew Chin, Don Martin, and Luis Palomares.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Council. First, I'd like to congratulate Ms. Shalinda on her appointment. Thank you, city staff, for coordinating all the events that you guys do. Every month, we're always seeing great events. This past weekend, the Easter egg hunt, great turnout. I'd love to see each person in an entry-level position within the city get a pay increase. It'd be really good to reward them for everything that they do. If you missed it, this past Planning Commission meeting, we did have Chair Korsick and Commissioner Bergeris resign to seek other opportunities in their lives. So I wanted to congratulate them and wish them luck. A couple weeks ago, I took my first ride along here in Moreno Valley with Deputy Avila. So I want to thank Chief Salisbury for what you do here in our city. Want to thank our law enforcement and fire department for everything they do. I saw what it takes to protect our city in the middle of the night when we get calls and we got to race from one end to the other. And in a time when people are talking about defund or fund the police, I saw firsthand the reasons why we need to increase our police protection here in our city. I love everything about what they're doing. I love everything about Moreno Valley and the direction it's going. And I yield my time. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Chen. Appreciate it.
The last two speakers are Don Martin and Luis Palomares.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening,
Good evening,
Council, members, and all else. I really wasn't planning on speaking. I heard a few things, and I was like, you know what? Let me just put my 2 cents in, so to speak. One, the individual that came up here and pretty much went off on you guys, you especially, Mayor. I've personally witnessed that individual spreading false information, so take everything he says with a grain of salt. The next thing was, you know, the talk of gas tax and prices of gas and stuff. And right now, a lot of people are being misled by this, by blaming Ukraine or what's going on in Ukraine as the reason why this is going on. Okay, our gas tax and all that was already high in California. Got like over $1 in taxes that we pay, and only roughly 8 to 10 cents of that goes to the federal government. The rest of it goes towards our state government. Okay, our gas prices have went up because of regulations and taxes by the state government, and also because of the current presidential administration and their decisions like cutting pipelines and doing business and buying oil from other countries when we could have been making it here. We've stopped the fracking, we've stopped the drilling. There's no more, all the contracts have been ceased for right now. So let's not blame this on Ukraine or anything like that. If we want to make a change in the gas tax and stuff like that, and we want to bring our gases down, we need to start looking into the resources that we have here in the country and utilize those. Okay. The next thing I wanted to hit on was this whole thing with Elena Baca Santa Cruz. You know, I have seen the hit pieces online and everything, and I think I'm probably the only person that went online and actually looked it up and went through and looked up the details. And I don't understand why it's being brought up. We're talking about something that was literally almost 10 years ago, possibly more. And it was minuscule at that. We're talking a divorce and bankruptcy, something that a lot of us have all been through. And anybody that knows what it's like to go through those things, know they can be tiring and know it can be trying and know it can take a long time. And whether it finished then or it finished today, the issues that she faced, like I said, were over a decade ago. I will say this, though, I've had the opportunity to speak with her. And if anything, she is the perfect candidate for this position.
Okay, thank you, sir.
The last speaker is Luis Palomares.
Hold on. Get my breath. Luis Palomares, community activist. Wow. Golly, you know, all the stuff that Lindsay said about Elena, come on. She filed bankruptcy. She didn't rob a bank, right, LaDonna? She didn't rob a bank. She wasn't on the lam for 9 years. And Marcus too. Well, fraud. We got the docket numbers, everything here. We got you even filed bankruptcy. Oh wow. Like they said, the statistics so many people have when they go through a divorce. So you're gonna hang her on the highest tree, right? For that. Okay, like I said, she didn't rob no bank, and you have a fraud, and I don't know what else here. But anyway, saying all that, it's not a joke. It's not funny. Do you think it's funny? I don't think so. And this is the swamp you're in. Cabrera and Marcus, you're all in that same swamp with the Carrie Dance, the LaDonnas, that she's putting all kinds of lies on factual, but she's twisting it the way she wants it, like Lindsay did right now. You're all in the same boat, the swamp, the bottom of the bucket. The bottom of the bucket. You, Lindsay, LaDonna, and then what? Come on. Don't you learn? Don't you get it? The coup here? How dare you? How dare you? And the one you're supporting is Mercado. Who are you supporting, Cabrera, Mercado or Ramos? You threw them both in the race, right? Anybody but Elena. You know, those Mercado don't care about the schools. He said, oh no, everybody pay for their own community college. Pay for their own community. That's what he cares about, our community college. And our schools here, he don't care about this district. That's the guy you're supporting, but you're whining and dining at the school district. You're all over the district. Why don't you run for a school district seat? You would think so. You're all in a class reading books. Oh, come on. Give me a break, you hypocrite. You hypocrite. I just can't, well, wait a minute. I could believe it because that's who you are, Cabrera and Marcus. Shame on you, growing men. You haven't learned nothing yet because your egos are flying too high.
Luis. Okay.
We currently have no more public speakers, Mayor Gutierrez.
Okay. Would any council members like to make the reports or comments at this time? All right. We are now going to move to our joint consent calendar sections A through E on the agenda. All items listed under the consent calendar sections A, B, C, D, and E are considered to be routine and non-controversial. Each action adopted is adopted by each agency and shall be so recorded by the city clerk. And then we'll go ahead and any requests to hear any items? Okay, Councilmember Cabrera.
Yes, just a quick comment on item A12.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. So item A12 is the approval of Measure A, Local Streets and Roads 5-Year Capital Improvement Plan. I just want to give, once again, a shout out to our staff here, our team, Mike Lee, Brian Mohan, Michael as well, for helping us with this, because it's, historic investments that we're making. And this is the next step in making sure that we get our roads fixed sooner rather than later. So just wanted to give you guys a huge shout out and thank you once again.
Okay. Thank you. All right, entertain a motion.
Make the motion.
Okay, make a motion made by Councilmember Cabrera, Councilmember Marquez, and then a second by Councilmember Cabrera. That was Marquez and Cabrera. Okay, please vote. Okay, motion passes unanimously. We'll move to item F2. And this is just another routine item, actually. It's just the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System mail ballot proceeding. We'll have a report from the Financial and Management Services Division.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, council members. You are correct. This is very routine, as our current requirement for all new development projects is to comply with the stormwater management requirements. So this particular developer has elected to be annexed into the NPDES program. All of it is detailed in the actual staff report. I will yield any additional comment and ask that the public hearing be open.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any council questions of staff? Okay, I'll go ahead and open the hearing. The hearing is now open. Mr. Deputy City Clerk, any public comments on this item?
There are no public comments on this item.
Okay, I'm closing the hearing. We'll have council deliberation if desired. Any council deliberation? No. Okay. I'll entertain a motion by council to approve staff's recommendation number 2, which is to direct the deputy city clerk to go ahead and count the ballots.
I'll motion to approve.
Okay, motion made by Councilmember Delgado and a second by Councilmember Cabrera. Please call for the vote. Okay, let's vote. And it's approved unanimously. We'll go ahead and take a minute for you to go ahead and count the ballot.
Mayor Gutierrez, the ballot contains 1 yes vote.
Okay, great. Okay. So I entertain a motion by council to approve staff's recommendation number 4, which is to receive and file the official tally sheet.
Approve.
Okay, motion made by Councilmember Marquez. Okay, by Councilmember Cabrera. Okay, please vote.
Mayor Gutierrez, for this one, we'll have to do a voice vote as well.
Okay.
Councilmember Marquez?
Yes.
Councilmember Cabrera?
Yes.
Councilmember Delgado?
Yes.
And Mayor Gutierrez?
Yes. Okay, it's approved unanimously. We'll go straight to item city council reports. Because we didn't have a meeting on March 15th, we do have some reports from individual council members, so they're going to give both reports from that time and then also this time. So we'll start with March Joint Powers Commission, Councilmember Delgado.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tonight, I'm providing updates on the March Joint Powers Commission meeting held on March 23rd. The Joint Powers Commission heard updates about the new Navy Reserve Center and about construction progress on the VIP 215 project south of March Airfield Museum along the east side of Interstate 215. We also approved consultant contracts and personnel restructuring to allow for operations continuity and succession planning during the sunsetting process. That concludes my report on the March Joint Powers Commission meeting.
Okay, and then Councilmember Delgado, if you could also do the Riverside County Transportation Commission and also the Western Riverside Council of Governments.
So we're doing a lot of catch up here, so bear with us, you guys. For RCTC, or the Riverside County Transportation Commission, at the March 9th commission meeting, the RCTC approved the construction contract for improvements to the Moreno Valley March Field Metrolink station improvements, which includes track improvements as well as platform improvements, a maintenance agreement for the 91 express lanes and 15 highway or I-15 express lanes, and a construction contract for auxiliary lane improvements to the southbound I-15 between Cajalco Road and Warwick Road. At the March 28th RCTC Programs and Project Committee meeting, the committee recommended 1, approval of funding for the Riverside County Free Rail Pass Program, making passes available to Metrolink riders in Riverside County, and 2, hold the review and approval of the Mid-County Parkway project for 30 days, which is in the city of Paris. The items will go to the full RCTC for final action, and this concludes the report for the Riverside County Transportation Commission.
WRCO?
Yes, the next council meeting was Western Riverside Council of Governments Executive Committee meeting. Items covered at the WRCOG Executive Committee meeting on March 7th, 22 include the TUMP Nexus study update remains on schedule. It is anticipated to be completed with the enacting of local TUMP ordinances by June of 2023. Items covered at the RCOG Executive Committee meeting on April 4 include SCAG or SCAG provided the Executive Committee with an overview of the draft policy development framework for Connect SoCal 2024 2040 to 2050 Regional Transportation Plan, Sustainable Community Strategy, or RTP SCS. SCAG will share this draft policy development framework with each policy committee to ask for feedback and input before bringing it to the Regional Council in June. That concludes the Western Riverside Council of Governments Executive Committee meeting.
Okay, thank you. We have
I actually have one
Oh,
more.
you have one
sir.
more. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's okay.
I told you we're
Yeah.
catching up, folks. These are comments that I added because I went to the P3 event in Dallas, Texas during our time away. So
Councilor Dog, we'll go ahead and just have those. Oh, was that just a report or closing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Closing?
No, you know what? Go ahead. Go ahead. Go for it.
I am pleased to report that on March 14th through 16th, I attended the Public-Private Partnership Conference in Dallas, Texas. The P3 conference is one of the largest gatherings of government and development professionals in the country. I am humbled by the opportunity to participate in political, policy, and project development discussions, not to mention discussion of innovative ways to partnership that are helping create, maintain, and improve local transportation, broadband, water, energy, and social infrastructure. Many state and city leaders offered their perspectives on local infrastructure needs, key drivers for action while considering major challenges, and the potential roles and limitations of their projects. The Event Expo provided one-on-one communication with professionals in the construction, technology, education, and procurement fields. Through networking, I was able to secure relationships to further support the needs of the city of Moreno Valley. Thank you. And that concludes all my comments. Okay.
No worries. Okay. We'll have a Councilmember Marquez. You have actually a few too. Riverside Transit Agency, and then also the Western Riverside County Regional Conservation Authority.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor.
Mm-hmm.
This April 8th at 10 a.m. downtown Riverside on Vine Street, the groundbreaking ceremony for RTA's new center. This is gigantic for our region. There are millions and millions of dollars. RTA has gotten grants and other businesses to build this center, this bus depot. Come on out April 8th at 10 o'clock on Vine Street. It's right across the street from the old, or not the old, but the train depot there. So come on out April 8th, 10 o'clock. RCA, Moreno Valley's MSHCH feed collection totals 76,310, which is equivalent to 26 residential permits for the month of December. Moreno Valley's collection for January exceeded that by $3,000, $79,836 for 19 residents permits. So you could see that it's growing out there in District 3, and those are good signs of growth in the city. We also have 3.5 commercial industrial acres that was approved in the month of January. And with that concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Marquez. We'll have City Manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Just 3 items tonight. First is just a reminder to the residents that the 60 freeway over on Myrtle Beach Drive Bridge Project, there's going to be a freeway closure on Friday, April 8th, all westbound lanes on the 60 at Myrtle Beach Drive from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. And on Saturday, April 9th, all eastbound lanes on the 60 freeway at Myrtle Beach Drive from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. So please do avoid that area. Second item is a reminder, our Community Day of Service, our next one's going to be Saturday, May 14th. It'll be at 8 to 12 o'clock. So if you're interested, just show up or sign up at 8 o'clock. We always have a nice refreshments in the morning and a nice event in the morning. So please do come out. And finally, just once again, our Safer program. This is a program due to the outreach of the mayor and city council soliciting these free smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. And we still have a lot of them. So please do come in, and they are free to our residents to come and show your identification, and you can pick up one of those free smoke detectors. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, City Manager. Okay, it brings us to closing comments. In the closing comments, this brings us to reports and comments from council members who did not speak earlier. You will have 5 minutes for your closing comments. Councilmember Marquez.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I want to touch on the interchange, 60 and Moreno Beach Drive. To the residents of Moreno Valley and the residents that live in that area, try to avoid that area this weekend. I don't want to get any calls. There's been major accidents there. With the DUIs have been going up on freeways. Just be careful in that area this weekend. We had a speaker talk about trash on Theodore, the wildlife preservation. We have no control once it passes that fence, that gate that's out there, that belongs to the state. You might call PD, and Chief, I don't know, I mean, if you want to comment on that, this jurisdiction that we have out there, I don't think our sheriff's department could enforce anything. Can we enforce that, Chief?
No, thank you, Councilman. Well, some state and local ordinances and laws would still come in effect while on that state property. But I do know where you're talking about, the pipe gate there that borders the state lands. I know that we do visit the corridor from the extension there on Davis Road, World Logistics Center, fairly frequently. And I know that Public Works is constantly working to remove some things that are discarded in that area.
Okay, thank you, Chief. So when you get complaints, or I've been getting a lot of complaints, not about the off-road vehicles, the trash. As soon as I get a report, I physically drive out there and take pictures, and I turn them over to our staff. It saves time because they'll see the pictures and they'll go out there and know exactly what they're picking up. Furniture, they'll take a bobcat, they'll take a backhoe, what they need to do the job out there. And we try to stay on top of it. But unfortunately, we can't be out there 24/7. And a lot of this dumping has occurred at night or middle of the night. And I think we've had one or two incidents where we actually caught people. The chief caught some people dumping some trash out there at one time. And we try our best, but we can't be out there 24/7. So potholes, we're getting around to where we're eliminating potholes and start paving our streets. And I want to shout out to Michael and Lloyd for your team for keeping those potholes patched up until we can actually get the paving finished. So thank you, Mike, and your crew. Sunfest, Springfest, that was awesome. I wish the weather would have been a lot more warmer out there, but it was nice. Good turnout. I want to say to our staff, Parks, where's our chief at there in Parks? Great job, great job. Everybody was helpful, professionalism out there. I really enjoyed this year. And there was a lot of people that showed up because they wanted to get out, but it was the kids getting out there and getting those eggs out there. And it was very nice. And I like to say things like that. This past 2 weeks, I was in Washington, D.C. on the National League of Cities convention. You know, I was very, very proud to announce at a couple of the committee meetings how far we are in California, or not only California, but here in Moreno Valley, how far in advance we are from these other communities in the United States. They had their Wi-Fi systems in a lot of these cities don't even exist. The schools don't have laptops for their students. Their students can't go to the library because they don't have Wi-Fi or hotspot boxes. I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe that. But I want to say to our staff here, the jobs they have done to increase that in our city. And I'm really proud of you guys. Thank you. I usually don't speak out on comments made. But I'm gonna
guys, please just let him allow him to speak.
I want to make 2 comments tonight. Mr. Thomas, you're here. I want to thank you for my granddaughter for the $80,000 that was just settled with your insurance company for your wrongdoings. Thank you.
Okay, quiet, please, guys.
And Robert Palomera, that whatever you want to call it, that fake thing you put out on me. I don't know how many times I have to prove to you and show you from letters from other departments in the county. It never occurred. So, you keep bringing up these lies and attacking me. That's fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't, I don't take this home with me, and I don't really care what you guys think. And Mr. Thomas, stop stalking me and flipping me off. Thank you. And stop stalking me in my house like you did today. You're not going to get no reaction from me when you're running around my house stalking me. And I'm gonna put it on record. If anything happens to my house or my family and you're in the area, believe me, I will definitely take care of business. So I just want to say
Guys,
that.
quiet, please.
I just want to
Guys,
say that,
let him-
it's illegal to be stalking someone, especially elected officials. And I have you on camera, and it's been brought up to staff already, so I just want to make you aware. So other than that,
Okay.
there was a comment made, one more thing, Mayor, please. Comment made about, I was going to come up with a explanation of what happened. But unfortunately, with my attorneys, they asked me not to say anything right now, and I'm taking their advice. I will eventually make a comment, but right now, through the advice of my attorneys, I cannot make a comment on that.
Okay.
So with that being said, thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Councilmember Marquez. Councilmember Cabrera?
Thank you. Good evening. Buenas tardes, everyone. It's good to be back here in person once again for our council meeting. First, I want to talk about Santiago Park, the dedication ceremony over in District 4. We had a speaker come out. He said after 2 years, this is his first meeting, and he was talking about the improvements made to Santiago and the traffic signals that have been added there as well, not only on Santiago, but on Gentian as well, which are making a major difference because I've gone to the park multiple times now. It's pretty close to my house. It's a beautiful park, absolutely amazing. The dedication ceremony itself was extremely well attended. There was a lot of kids there, and I actually walked into my office today and I got the plaque. Thank you, staff. You always make sure to take care of us with that. And just a quick funny story. I grew up playing basketball. Right, I'm originally from Los Angeles. Basketball is my first sport, and at the park we were able to put 2 half basketball courts. And there's a lot of teenagers that'll be shooting hoops there, right? And here I go thinking that I'm just gonna shoot a little bit and just kind of, dust some of the rust off. And then they asked me to play 21, and I said, okay, let's play. A couple dribbles in, and I was, breathing heavy. My knees were feeling it, and I just, I felt it. Just going up against these teenagers. I thought I was younger than I am, but time flies. So. Excellent job there, staff on Santiago Park. Very well done. What else here? So we have currently new stadium lights going in at El Potrero Park. Again, thank you, staff, for helping with that. We are working on a lot of other things that we'll make public pretty soon, but I know this will make a big difference for our soccer teams, for our football teams. So thank you again for working on that, staff. Appreciate it. Kia Car Pros, last month we had the ribbon cutting and grand opening for that as well. And if I remember correctly, just within the first few months that they were actually opened, they were one of the top selling, I believe in the top 10 dealerships in the entire country. It was just absolutely amazing. And, we get a lot of benefits as a city from the dealership, the tax revenue from it. And so that's really good. And the building is just beautiful. It's really, really nice. Next item I want to talk about, just I've been having a couple of meetings with our educational partners, educational institutions like Moreno Valley College, UC Riverside, talking about just throwing some ideas around. But when we talk about economic development, we focus a lot on business retention, business attraction. And one of the areas that I think we should put more emphasis on, and I'll provide more details about this later, but is in political science. I'll go back to this again. We talk about something called brain drain, a theory that we study. And basically what that says is that in your communities, there are youth, right? Young students specifically that are either in high school or college. And because there's no job opportunities for them in what they're studying, they will leave, right? Brain drain is what it's called. And so one of the ways that I think we can tackle brain drain is through the funding that we have, whether that's the Moreno Valley Community Foundation, our 501c3, or another source of funding, to fund some of these ideas that either our college students have or our local professionals have, like engineers and medical professionals, to fund their ideas so that they can start new companies, basically startups. And I know that that's something the city of Riverside, the mayor, is doing there. And I know that we can do it here, and we have the money to do it as well. So I think if we put that together with Mobile Learns and capitalize on this, find some folks in our city that have those bright ideas for creating the new, some new companies, I think that's something that, we definitely should work on. I would love to see that. Cesar Chavez Scholarship Breakfast at Moreno Valley College. it was virtual, but we had the Honorable Dolores Huerta, who was a keynote speaker, and she's just absolutely amazing. She doesn't stop. She's out there fighting every single day. So it was really good to have her here, and the mayor will probably share more about that. Springtastic, really, really nice, well attended. Yeah, the weather was a little cloudy, but a lot of people turned out. I was able to take my family out there, so it was really nice. Osias just likes to see everything. He's at that stage where he's amazed and wowed by everything. So it was really nice, and he was happy. So last thing I want to mention is Dear California. It is a volunteer event that is put together by Sandals Church, and that's happening this Saturday across various communities in California, including Moreno Valley. And they are meeting at Towngate Park this Saturday, April 9th at 9 a.m. They're going to do a lot of different types of volunteer activities, from cleaning up trash, helping clean parks, even helping people's homes with their landscaping. So if anybody's interested, you could go to sandalschurch.com/Dear California to sign up for that. So with that, I want to wish you a good night, and we'll see you at the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. We have Councilmember Delgado.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to make mine short since I read so much tonight with the whereas and all that stuff. So the roundup, I live at the Sunbeam Ranch, and if you live up there too, I put an article in there every pamphlet there. So if you want to read what's going on in your district and our district in Sunbeam Ranch, that'll be there. I'm very busy with my district, and what makes me busy with my district is responding to calls from members of the public in District 2. And they'll call me back and thank me for taking care of whatever their call was. And I have to tell them it's not me. I just made a call. So I want to push that thanks to our city staff. Honestly, they're not here in this room. They're not on the other side of the calls, but they deserve all the credit for taking care of those calls for our residents. In saying that, the city manager puts on a staff appreciation breakfast for them, and we all go out and we thank them. And we just did that last week, and it was amazing. It was amazing talking to those guys and gals that actually do all the work that we're actually getting credit for. But that's just what it is. That's city government, and I get that. But talking to them, it is amazing on how proud they are of what they do on a day in and day out. Honestly, I was very honored. It was like I was the one that was honored to be there with them. So be sure you thank you guys for us. Congrats to all of the new employees that were hired. I think there were 6 that came in, 5 or 6. I had their name, but they're upstairs. But welcome aboard. Welcome to the city of Moreno Valley. And then saying goodbye to some that left to pursue other careers or options in their life. But we are moving forward, and I like it. I like to be part of this. Last thing I will say is, look, there's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot going on, across continents, and there's a lot of hate, and I don't like to see it. And then you bring it, not you, but we see it in our cities, our local cities. And I'm going to propose that you challenge yourselves this until we meet again, which is, I believe, the 19th. You challenge yourselves to be kind to someone and make an effort to be kind to someone. And I know you guys are kind. I get that, but make an effort. And what I'd like to see is a ceasefire. A ceasefire at the next meeting, if we can come and just do city business. City business is what we're here for. The First Amendment. I'm all for our Constitution. I'm all for freedom of speech. I totally get that. I promise you, I get that. But I would like to see one of these meetings just go on and get city business out of the way. And I think that would be really cool to illustrate to the city of Moreno Valley and beyond that there's just too much anger and hate going around. And I not hate here. Anger here maybe, but not hate. But but there's certainly hate in Ukraine, and you guys saw that in the news last week. There's absolute hate, and it sickens us as normal American people. So, be kind, please. That's my decree to you guys, to all of us, and myself included. I'll be the first one to report back that we were kind in the next couple weeks. So that's all I have. We'll see you on the 19th. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. I know it's been a while, right? Since March 15th was canceled. So I do thank your patience, for waiting to come tonight and to let your voice be heard, and that's what we saw tonight as far as, with the redistricting, you were able to speak out on that. And I think the council heard what you had to say, to keep the same districts, and not change them in any way like that. So I do also echo what Councilmember Delgado says as well. Just to bring that kindness. That's a very important thing, in every day, and then also in the meetings as well. I think you guys do that, but I think we can always get better too as well. So. Dolores Huerta and Cesar Chavez. So Dolores Huerta had an event at Moreno Valley College. It was called the Dolores Huerta and Cesar Chavez Memorial Breakfast. And before it was just a Cesar Chavez. So now they added Dolores Huerta to it. And that was really nice to see her speak and her words of encouragement. She was an activist, a leader. For many people and many groups of folks for civil rights. So it was really wonderful to see. And what they did with the money in that memorial breakfast was scholarships. So they provided scholarships for kids. Santiago Park, I keep hearing from so many residents, and even residents that don't even live in District 4, residents in District 2 and 3, they've emailed me like, wow, I love that park. I can't believe it. I'd like how it has the exercise equipment, the trails. It's really multi-use. So I was really surprised. I know it was nice and everything, but I was really surprised that we got emails from other folks from other districts, really excited about it. So it's made its way throughout the city. So that's a good thing. The general plan, I do know, we had approved the general plan, and we're still waiting on some things on that. And there are some, currently it's in litigation, but one of the things, hopefully, once that's resolved, that will result in our aquatic center being built, which is by Moreno Beach and Cottonwood. That I'm really looking forward for that to come to the city of Moreno Valley. Also, our town center, that we approved that a while ago. So I'm really looking forward to that general plan getting resolved, and I think it will be pretty soon. So hopefully we can get that going. With that, I do want to mention that. We did lose one of our own, and her name was Tina Gallegos. She worked in the Animal Service Division, and it's with great sadness that I inform you that she passed away. She passed away on Sunday, March 27th. Tina Gallegos, she had been a valued member of our team since 1996. And was serving as our animal service dispatcher in our animal service division. So in her honor, I will adjourn the meeting in her honor at 8:05 p.m. Thank you all and have a good night and stay safe.